again, I mean, they're trying to do this like Mahomes things, where it's like Mahomes won a Super Bowl with nothing. What can you do, Josh Allen? It's like, whoa, I can win a Super Bowl with even less.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with us today on this NFL preview of the AFC East, team leader extraordinaire Mike King. Mike, how you doing, man?
I just got to show up so some people stop making fun of the Giants.
And speaking of making fun of the Giants, Buffalo Bills fan number one, Captain for life, Will Cotton. Will, how you doing, man?
Better than Friday. Still connected.
That's all right. So on today's AFC East preview, in segment 1, we're going to go over major storylines. In segment 2, we're going to cover over-under predictions strictly for entertainment purposes only. And in segment 3, we'll do our predicted order of finish, playoff teams, and Super Bowl contenders. But first, let's go, Mike. New York Jets. Big question, is Aaron Rodgers any good anymore? We hear a lot about him. How do you think the Jets are going to do?
Well, it's going to come down to Aaron Rodgers. Their whole season's pretty much going to come down to Aaron Rodgers, kind of like last season. When he got hurt, the season ended before it even started. The thing with Aaron Rodgers, 2022, when he was healthy, he had 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, which for him was his worst year ever, or maybe his worst year. He's 2 years older, coming off an injury. He's old. I mean, we'll see. The Jets have talent. They have a really, really good cornerback who holds every play and never gets called. But he's spending the entire offseason golfing. I follow him on Twitter. Love it, because I see how much better he's getting so quickly. You can see like what being a premier athlete does to your golf game, because he's already better than me and he just started. But he's not playing football. He's golfing every day. They got a ton of guys. Like, you look, they're one of those teams every year you look on paper, you go, that's a good team. And they never are good. So I'm, what have you done for me lately? Prove it. So I'm not going to believe in them. Could they do it? Absolutely. But we've been talking about this for how many years? It's always something with the Jets. I'm out.
Cotton man, Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, Bobby couldn't be here, but he has said his piece in the group chat. Is he ready to do something for the New York Jets?
I don't know about Mike King. He's super young, but me, I'm getting close to 40. And, you know, not that the creeks are coming in, but it feels different. The body feels different. Waking up after a long night or a hard workout definitely feels different. And I'm not an NFL player, and by any anything, not even close. You know, and then I hurt my Achilles, not tore it, but I've definitely ruptured it to a point. And I'm just like, oh man, like I'm just not ruptured, but like strained. And it's a constant pain when I'm walking around sometimes. Like some days I wake up and I'm limping, you know. I can't feel that, you know, he might feel good. Don't get me wrong. September feels amazing. The weather's great. It's warm. You know, it's the October, November, December in New York, in Buffalo, you know, and I know he played in Green Bay, but like it changes when you have those injuries. I've never seen anyone outside of LeBron James. I mean, I'm not even going to say Tom Brady is the same in his 40th. Like, you know, he'll be a version of himself that's good enough to get the Jets to the possible playoffs. But that's about it for me. I don't think his body is going to. And again, Mike King is telling me he's not like working. He's not working out. He's not training. He's not doing the thing. He's playing golf. You know, I think he's 1 foot out the door, collecting the checks. At best, because of his skill, I think they should make the playoff, maybe a wild card. But that's about it. We'll see what happens, but that's about it for me.
All right. Well, I'm going to stay with you. Buffalo has made a lot of changes. We have talked about them. Going into this year, I'm still feeling even better. But they got Keon Coleman. Is this guy ready to have the type of workload that they're going to need from that position to make any noise in the AFC East?
I hope. I mean, the kid is a dog. I mean, he is a true alpha. The dude's a beast. It's a shame that they couldn't keep him and Diggs together. I don't know why that's something that I thought of. Like, why not have him and Diggs together? They're two kind of different kind of wide receivers, And then they bring in like Curtis Samuel, who he's okay, but he's not Diggs, and MVS. I mean, he's pretty much Gabe Davis with different name. So again, I mean, they're trying to do this like Mahomes things, where it's like Mahomes won a Super Bowl with nothing. What can you do, Josh Allen? It's like, whoa, I can win a Super Bowl with even less. So I'm not buying it, man. Like, this team has been progressively getting worse. Granted, the only thing they have, if it wasn't for Josh Allen, this wouldn't even a story. We wouldn't even talk about the Buffalo Bills. They would be in the basement, So, and he had and people say he played a great season. For like 70% of the season, he played awful. Like, for most of the season, he played awful. He caught fire on the back end, and I'll give him credit for that. That's a real professional. Stuck with it, but I mean, the guy throws a lot of interceptions. I haven't really seen like that next step since he took that big jump in like 2020, 2021, something like that, or 2019. I just don't know, man. And now they're taking away his elite receivers. It's going to be tough for him. I think they'll be right there fighting with the Dolphins, but I don't think they have enough to go get over the hump. But the kid Keon Coleman is a dog. I like that kid. He's good.
Okay. Mike, do you believe in Buffalo?
Not really. Like, their best years were a couple years ago. They missed every shot. And now you look at the offense and you have a quarterback. And really, I mean, a quarterback's what you need, so that's good. But then you look at the rest and you just go, Like, is anything better than it was 2 years ago? Because the Chiefs keep winning. Mahomes keeps winning. So that's still the team that you got to beat. And I look at their wide receiver 1, it's worse. Wide receiver 2, it's worse. Wide receiver 3, it's worse. Running back 1, it's not as good as it was 2-3 years ago when they had like, everything's worse. So how do you buy in? That there's some guys on defense, and Josh Allen, you hope. So I would not pick them to playoffs. Sure, go far in the playoffs. I don't see it.
Their defense isn't good enough to overcome his interceptions.
No.
All right, Mike, I'm going to stay with you, Miami. So you got 2 in the contract, and you also have the brashness of the head coach, and they haven't won anything. Are they going to win anything this year, Mike? What do you think about the Dolphins?
I like the coach. I really like the coach. He's a character. And they got, I mean, the receivers in Tua, I mean, and they've got a couple running backs. So the offense is scary, but it's like you look at them and they're a team that as soon as the weather gets cold, you're not scared of them anymore. And that's kind of how I'm going to take the same thing as I said with the Jets. Until you prove me wrong, why am I going to change my opinion on you? You are what you are. You look at them on paper, go, how are we going to stop that team? And then every year they get stopped. Every year when it matters, when they play a real team, they get stopped. So,
we're going to hear this all year too. That's why I love our analysts.
I'm still giving Tua money because otherwise, what do you got? Like then you're nothing. So you have to have, at least he puts you in a conversation. It's not a great conversation, but it's better than which quarterback should we draft in the top 5? And then you have 2 wide receivers who are going to be angry. So, yeah, it's got to work. And if it doesn't, they're just going to run it back and just 9-7, 10-6 it for the next few years.
Hey, that's Miami the last 20 years.
Go ahead, Will. What do you think about the Dolphins, man?
Man, I have a lot. It's crazy. I have a lot of Dolphins friends. Like, they love the Dolphins, and it's randomly. They're very optimistic, I'll say. I think the best thing is they have a quarterback. So anytime you have a quarterback, you have a chance to win. Hopefully they keep him happy and upright. I think the biggest thing they worried about his injury history. But I think they're a good team, man. But like Mike King says, I think they're going to have to win the number 1 seed, because the biggest thing for them is by the time playoffs come around, it's going to be cold and they can't play in the cold. They have a bunch of players from Miami or Florida who are allergic to the cold. I know it because I'm the same way. But I think they are going to have to get a number 1 or 2 seed, and they're going to have to ride through that Miami that heat. But that's the only path I can make in the Super Bowl. Other than that, I think whenever they run into a cold weather game, that's when they're going to hit the wall. But we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully, they can get that seed they need. But if they're not, I don't see them going further past wild card season or wild card weekend or division weekend as well.
All right, Will, to close us out, the New England Patriots. So you got Drake May being drafted. You got new coach. When are you going to play the kid? They're not expecting a lot from New England. Is this a surprise team for you, or you're not expecting a lot either?
No, I'm not expecting nothing. I'm not expecting. This is going to be one of those teams where you just go ahead and bet them to lose the money line, or against the spread. Maybe you'll go against them if it gets cold or something like. Oh, they'll keep it close because it's New England, it's cold, but they're not a good team. They're not a good team. They're not built. They're still built for Bill Belichick, and they don't have Bill Belichick. And there's a bunch of pieces, and they're like, all right, well, we'll try and make it happen. The best thing is, Drake May, he's making $9 million a year. He has $23 million signing bonus. So he can pay all the gifts to his offensive linemen because they won't be able to block him either. So he better at least buy him some dinners, get him the massages, because the sacks are coming. These are the seasons where they build camaraderie. These are the seasons where, like, remember when we were in the mud and we were 2-14, 3-13, and that the best thing is keep Drake May healthy, because if you want to have a chance, you got to have your quarterback healthy and they can improve. But I don't see much. I think they're going to be looking for starters this year, guys that they can make consistent, but I don't think they're going to look at anything like winning. But when you've won the last 20 years, you got a little grace period before you got to get back. So they'll be fine. They're just going to be bad.
Mike King, will the Patriots surprise anybody?
Like, if you expect them to win 2, could they win 3? That might be a surprise. Yeah, I guess. I looked at the roster. Like, I'm looking at the depth chart. NCAA football 2024 and beyond and previous didn't exist because I don't know any of these guys. So maybe if I ever get that game, I'll start learning people on this Patriot team in the future, because this is a terrible team. The left tackle I just looked up his PFF score, and it was bad. So that's who's going to be guarding your rookie quarterback. So that's bad. Running back's decent, then the wide receivers, nothing. They could have had. Drake may better work out because they could have had Marvin Harrison Jr. He's right there, and that's an all-timer. And then you can get the quarterback next year. You could have paired him with Dion's kid, and been the next team. We'll see. But yeah, there's just not star power on the team. There's not even it's just all bad. So I'm gonna follow the Patriots this year because I'll do a survivor pool and I'll pick whoever they're playing. And let's see how far that gets me. I think that's going to be the strategy.
It still comes back to strictly for entertainment purposes only. So with that, fans, in segment 2, we will talk over/under, and we will talk about their roster ranking. We'll be right back on the Yacht Coaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student-athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 2, we're going to talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. Will, I'm going to start with you. The Buffalo Bills, the over-under is 10.5, and their roster rank is 10. Come on, man. Talk to me. What do you got?
Man, you know me, man. This team progressively got worse every year. 11 wins. I think it's doable. They can win. They're a good regular season team. They can get wins, and now an extra game. I mean, come on. I mean, if it was me, based on who they're playing, I would take the under.
Under. Okay.
I just don't believe in Buffalo.
Mike, over under 10.5 for the Buffalo Bills.
They got Cardinals, Titans, Colts. They got the Patriots twice. But it's not like an easy out of conference schedule. Like they got the Ravens, the Texans. Like I'm kind of I wouldn't pick either one, but I'll go under.
Okay, all right, Mike. I'm gonna stay with you. New York Jets over under 9.5. Roster rank is 4. Mike, what say you with the Jets?
I'll go against what I was saying. The first thing, you are who you are till you prove it. If I had to, if entertainment purposes only, but if I was putting my own money, I'd probably risk it and go over just because someone's got to get wins in the division. They're not all going to be like 9-win teams. I can see the Jets going 10-7. Because again, you get the Patriots twice. You get pretty much 2 free wins. Well, Patriots aren't free wins for the Jets though. The Jets haven't beaten them in like a millennium. But they got the Broncos. They got the Vikings. They've got the Colts. They got the Cardinals. There's wins on the schedule. I'm taking the over.
All right. Will, what say you about the Jets?
Man, I don't like the Jets either. But, I mean, when you have enough talent and you're playing against, like, bad teams, I can see them getting 10 wins. I think that's probably it, though. 10 wins, and that'll be enough to kind of get them in the wild card. But they're not going to win the division.
All right, Will, I'm going to stay with you. If I came back as a Dolphin, random Prince reference, over under 9.5, roster rank 11. What say you, sir?
I'm going to take the over. They're the guys I think they're going to win the division. I think they have the talent. I think they're going to have the weather in the early season to get a good run going. They can get like 5-6 wins going, start early. That's what they did last year, just beating people up, scoring earlier than them. But yeah, I got them to win the division. So I think I'm going to take the over.
Hey, Mike King, over under 9.5 for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, AFC East is tough to figure out. I'm going to go over. There's a bunch of free wins. There's like 4 or 5 free wins. And who's going to guard the receivers? Again, they'll get these wins early. When the weather's warm, the receivers are running. Then they'll lose late. I can see them again in that 10-7 range. I see every team so far. First 3 teams I see 10-7, so I'll go over.
Yep, I think so.
All right, Mike, finish us off. New England Patriots over under is 4.5, and the roster rank is 29. What do you think?
I hate going under when there's only 4.5, but I think I'll take the under.
No,
I mean, is Drake May get a start, and then when he starts, is he any good? Usually takes some time, and it's hard to be good when you have no offensive line. It's hard to be good when you have no receivers. I've been living that with the Daniel Jones experiment. So I'm going to take the under.
Will, what about you? Patriots over under 4.5, roster rank 29.
I'm like Mike King. If Brissett is playing, I'll take the over. But if it's Drake May, I'm going to take the under. I don't know who's coming out. But if it looks like it's going to be May, I'm going to take the under.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, fans, when we get back, segment 3, projected order of finish. And we're going to see who's in the playoffs. And is there a Super Bowl team from the AFC East? We'll find out on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. Projected order of finish. Will, start us off. AFC East, what is your projected order of finish?
Miami, Buffalo, Jets, New England.
Okay. King, what you got?
Miami, Jets, Buffalo, New England.
But New England's the worst team. Okay.
It's not a question. I'd bet anything on that.
Yeah. Maybe in the worst in the NFL, not just the division either.
Very well could be.
Mike, do we have one or two playoff teams coming out of AFC East?
I mean, I feel like they're all in that 10-7 range, so I'm going to say 2. I think it'll be tiebreakers to decide between. That's why I've got the Bills and Jets kind of like in that right there for that last spot. Maybe they're tied and it comes down to tiebreakers. So I'm saying Dolphins win the division and Jets get a wild card.
All right. Will, what say you, sir?
If it was the NFC, man, they could have had three teams in. But because they have such tough teams in the AFC, I agree with Mike King and say 2 get in. And I think it's Miami, and I think Miami sneaks in then the Jets.
All right. Now, do we have a Super Bowl team, Will, coming out of the AFC East?
Unless they flying when they unless they flying in on Super Bowl. That's it.
I don't even know what the Super Bowl is this year. Mike, do we have one from the AFC East, sir?
I mean, of course not. that would be a shock. I mean, that would be a shock.
Vegas,
Ravens,
this year.
I don't see any of these teams close to Chiefs or Ravens.
It was last year.
All right, so fans, we have covered the AFC East. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches Podcast, and we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA SAVE Project. The CKA SAVE Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA SAVE Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches Podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA SAVE Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA SAVE Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.